Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I'm Jamie. I read a lot of books. And this video, is looking at the books that I've chosen to add to my TBR for specific things. So I know I posted a TBR already, and I kind of hinted on that one that there were maybe more books coming, and there are. So, of course, at the beginning of the year, you find out what everybody else is doing and think, oh, well, I could fit that in too. And then you go along a little bit further and there's something more. And within probably 6 hours of getting online at the beginning of 2024, my TBR has grown. And my plans include several projects that are from other people's activities. So here's some of the additions to my TBR. First up, we have the Historathon. This is something that I will talk more about as I read the books that I'm going to be focusing on for it. It's divided up into quarters of the year, I believe. And each quarter they're focusing on a different time period. So the first time period is the really old stuff. I don't remember the exact cutoff year, but it doesn't matter terribly much what that year is, because the book that I'm already reading for my tomes project is definitely one that spans the early part of Chinese history. So this one sort of does double duty. It's the tome, and it's also a book from the earliest segment of history for the Historathon. And I will post links for all of these reading activities in the description so that you can hear more about them. I am terrible at explaining other people's reading games. So let them explain what the game is, what the rules are. I'll do what I can, but they're the ones that really explain it well and have all the information. This is for Historathon. It should be good. Now I'm going to restack the books on top of it because I need more space. Alright. Try not to knock myself over with my books. Yay. Okay. So, next up we have the Adventurathon Readathon. This is one that's also a bit complicated. I will let the people responsible for the Adventurathon explain the Adventurathon. Again, check out the links below for more information. It's kind of a role-playing game / readathon, which is fun. It's something that used to be totally something I would have been into in high school. So I sort of was watching from the sidelines for the first rounds of it during 2023 and thinking, wow, that sounds like so much fun, and sort of reminiscing about who I was decades ago when that was just part of my lifestyle. And I'm older. Yeah. I'm not playing with foam swords anymore. Although actually my weapon of choice when I was playing with the foam weapons was a quarterstaff. You can imagine I'm about 4'11". So 4'11" chick with a huge foam quarterstaff. It was a lot of fun. So I had a little while that was kind of my thing. I went around in tall boots and cloaks and things when I could. I can do a readathon that happens to be kind of a role-playing game. And, play along with it as much as I feel up to. There is something on their Discord about cosplaying. So if I get really into it, which I might do some dressing up and try and pretend that I'm not old. So for that one, the first book that you need to read for that one is just kind of picking your table. So you've gone into the guild hall and there's 4 tables, and they describe the atmosphere at each table, and you pick one that your character would choose to sit at. So I didn't construct a character, which was what they were doing in the first 2 rounds, but they have an option for all those of us that are joining late, or that just want to start over, I suppose, if you didn't really like where yours ended up. So, yeah, out of the choices, I probably would be leaning towards something along the lines of a mage or a seer. So that's kind of what I am. Some sort of a magic user, scholarly type that likes to know how things work and likes to manipulate things, but maybe not, thwacking people with sticks. But the sort of mage, seer, magic user type who would get really bored just being surrounded by magic users. So, while there would be an obvious choice table for my character, I actually chose the one that had more of the people that would whack people with sticks, the warrior types, the adventurers. And for that purpose, I had to pick a book that was kind of in keeping with the atmosphere of my chosen table, which is good because I have this book. I actually have a whole bunch of these books that I found on a free shelf. I don't have book 1. That's going to bug me maybe. But I haven't read any books set in gore, G-O-R, gore. Those of you that are a generation older than I am probably know these books, or at least have seen them around. They are definitely in that genre of kind of fiction that came out, fantasy fiction that came out when my parents were young, that just didn't catch on enough that I would have ever heard of it later. And my parents didn't read them, so yeah, they're, I think, along the same lines kind of as the Conan series as far as subgenres of fantasy. Based on the cover, you got a brawny dude with long hair who's mostly naked, and a oddly curvaceous, mostly naked chick, and they are riding a big bird. So, yeah, I could see that being the same genre as Conan the Barbarian. And I just did read most of Conan the Barbarian in 2023, and we'll be finishing that up this year anyway. So it's definitely one that I might like. So I just grabbed one at random from the stack of the gore books. The Carl Cabot saga? I can't tell. It's got a sticker over part of it. But yeah, so that'll be my first book to read for that game. I did select the rest of my TBR as well for the first segment of this Adventurathon reading game, but I will talk about them after I finish this one, because that'll give me some more time to figure out what the heck is going on. Because this is a new one for me. I'm used to the kinds of readathons where you just kind of read on your own and talk about it later, and not very much interaction even on the websites where it's active. And so Adventurathon's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So then we also have the Past and Future Readathon, which I heard of through Sandy's video where she was talking about what she's going to be up to on Ms. Reads a Lot. So I would look that one up, and I'm totally on board with it because one of the prompts for the Past and Future Readathon dovetails nicely with a stack of books that was sitting in my room that I was staring at the other day. So let me pull up the prompts for that one. There are 9 prompts. The first one is read the oldest book on your TBR. That's the one that really sparked my interest because of this book. This is a book that belonged to my mother, and it was one of her books for college. I absconded with it when I was about 8. I've had it ever since. I've used chapters of it for school projects in middle school, but I've not ever actually read it cover to cover. There were 2 of them. I read the other one, and I did eventually give it back to her. But when I was looking at this one, I looked on the inside cover finally, and yeah, it's got my mom's name on it, but it has my mom's maiden name on it. This is not from when she went back to college. This is from when she went to college before she got married. So not only have I had it unread since I was 8, which is several decades ago, just a couple, but then it's also been sitting around in our family's books since well before I was born. So, as far as TBR books go, this is probably the oldest TBR book I have. And I need to read it, and I have a feeling my mom wants it back. So, I'm going to try and finish it in January so I can eventually give my mom her book back. So this is the first prompt. Oldest book on my TBR. Next prompt is an old favorite. Read an old favorite or read a book by a favorite author. And so I picked one for this one as well. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I wish that I had talked about this one with my French teacher when I was taking French classes, because I have not internalized how to pronounce this guy's name. I like his books. From one day to the next, some days I can get it, some days I can't. Saint-Exupéry. Maybe? I don't know. Anyway. This is 3 books in one. I read Wind, Sand, and Stars quite a few years ago, and I really loved it. It was a time classic series and with really pretty covers. I might still have it somewhere. But this one also has Night Flight and Flight to Eros. I think I've read 2 or 3 other books by him, but not those 2. So I've read Wind, Sand, and Stars. The other 2 I need to read, and I will probably reread Wind, Sand, and Stars as well. So this is an old favorite that I'm looking forward to. This is a book I got from one of my sisters. So I don't know if she wants it back afterwards. She'll probably want it back afterwards, but we'll see. Then the next prompt is bucket list. Read a book from your bucket list. In addition to being from the Boxall's 1001 Books You Must Read Before You Die list, which I've been working on for years, this is also a book I was supposed to have read last year and didn't really get to. I borrowed the DVDs of the miniseries from my neighbor and watched those, and I still didn't actually get past about page 10 in this book. So, I need to read Parade's End by Ford Madox Ford. It is well overdue. It's not even as fat as this because there's notes and stuff in this one. So, I just need to read it. I finished so many long books last year. This isn't even long by comparison. So, yeah. So this one definitely is one I'm going to try and finish in January. It does make a satisfying thud, so I guess it's kind of a big book. New edition. Read a recent addition to the TBR or your newest book. This one is going to be an audiobook. I downloaded, or not downloaded, I checked out. They live in the cloud still. I checked out several books from the library right at the end of December when I'd accomplished my 20 books for December so that I could get new books. So I have 9 books checked out. And I'm going to hopefully finish all 9 of them in January. They are now books that are on my shelf because they got added after that, 20 books had been accomplished. So whichever one of those I choose to use for this. I'm reading Woman at 10,000 Degrees right now by, I can't remember her first name. Helgesen is her last name. It is Danish, I think. Pretty sure Danish. She talks a lot about Denmark, so probably Danish. And so far pretty good. It starts out about a woman who is, she's telling the story. She's the narrator. She is sitting here with a grenade and talking about how satisfying the grenade is. And then is talking about her past in Denmark, and so far it's as far as I got. So, yeah. So that one I think will be the book for that prompt, because I've already started it, and it's pretty good. It was even recommended to be by my sibling, which is why it might have to be, it might be a different one that ends up going for that prompt, because we also have prompt number 8, the book buddy. Have a friend choose a book for you. And she kind of picked that book for me. My sister did. So, when I was reading off the books I checked out, she's like, oh, you have to read that book. So I might go with that being book, prompt 8, and just read one of the others. I have 2 more books by Patricia Highsmith, 1 by Pat Barker, and 2 by Hilary Mantel, plus The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. So I have quite a selection of books that I've acquired via the library in the last literally 4 days. The last couple I literally checked out just before the year was over, when I realized I had 2 slots that I hadn't used up yet. So those technically are my most recent. All right, and then we have New Year's resolution: read a book that gets you off to a good start with a reading goal. For this one, pretty much anything applies for that. So anything that goes for any of these reading goals would apply for that. I'm just going to go with, doubling up on that one with a different project. Try something new. Pick a read using a color wheel. So I'm definitely going to be doing a color wheel for this one. Let's see. Let's find a color wheel. Color wheel spinner. Alright. We'll just pull up a color wheel spinner and make it spin. So the colors on the one that I'm staring at, that I can't show you because I don't have the way to do this right now: blue, red, green, orange, purple, yellow, pink, gold, silver, black, and white. We'll just go with that, because I do have at least 1 book in each of those colors. So we are looking at orange. So pick a book that is orange. And do I have one that's already on my TBR? Oh, yes, I do. I have one already on my TBR that is orange. It's not very orange, but it is orange, at least on the spine. So the Ira Affair works for that. So I'm doubly supposed to finish this book. If I feel like that isn't satisfying enough, because it's only orange on that little itty bitty bit of spine. So how about we do a little bit less half-assed on this? Alright, so do we have an orange book behind me that is not already booked for something else? We do have The Sources of Chinese Tradition, which is orange. So that could be, or we could do down here. Yeah, we'll do this. This is more orange. So, The Beekeeper of Aleppo. is orange. It is nicely orange. It's not just a little bit of orange on the spine. By Kirsty Terry. So this will be on my TBR now. Yay. All right. Now let's see, what else do we have left to do here? Series sort out, continue a series or start a new one. At this point, I've got so many series that one I might just let be one of the ones from my TBR as it exists. I've got quite a few series. The Ira Affair is from a series. It's book 1. We've got the Sayers Swindle, which is from a series, and I've read quite a few of them. And then we've got the Gore book, which is the first one I'm trying from a series. I think we'll go with that. I do have other books that I would like to get into that are from series, but it is such a bad habit for me and such a shtick thing that I overdo my TBRs. I'm going to try not to do that quite so ridiculously much, because I feel like I'm caricaturizing myself by making such ridiculous TBRs. So we'll avoid doing that. And then the other prompt on here that we haven't addressed is the Moody Monday. So one of these days when it happens to be a Monday, I'm not going to do today because everything's kind of mood reading today. I'm starting out and just picking what I'm going to do to begin the year today. So one of the other Mondays of this month, I will pick a book that may or may not be on my TBR, as long as it's not already booked for something that I can't move it around for. That will be my Moody Monday pick. So that's the Past and Future Readathon. I will post a link in the description for that. And then is the TBRathon. TBRathon, the version that I'm playing, does not have specific prompts, because the TBRathon, I will put a link in the description for the introduction video to this game, has 5 different ways to play. The one I'm going to play is the book chain, where the book you're reading determines in some way the book you're going to start next. So let's say that I finish Operation Time Search. This is one of the ones I was reading for a sprint today. So let's say I finish this one. Something in this book has to link it into the next book I start that replaces this book, to create a chain of books. And then if you're really good, the final book in the game connects back to the first book. So we'll see how that works. I'm reading more than one book at a time, so that makes it a little bit more complicated, because I'm doing 3 books right now. I have Thunder on the Right by Mary Stewart, Operation Time Search, and The Woman at 1000 Degrees by Helga Sutton. Yeah. I almost remember her first name. Starts with an H. Anyway, so whichever one of those I finish first, I will be using that one as the chain beginning book and pick the next book from that. So those are my reading games that I'm playing along with. I'm nowhere near creating a reading game of my own, and I firmly believe there are a lot of reading games already out there, so I would rather be another participant in somebody else's game rather than start a whole new game just for the heck of it. We did do a readathon over the weekend for Dewey's, just very casual, but we had a lot of good participation where we were doing it. It was literally just chiming in on the post on Facebook or in the single thread in Discord or in Goodreads, which was very low-key. We didn't have to do a lot of admin work. It was nice. And a lot of people got a lot of reading done, without having to worry about, taking time out of what they were going to be already doing. So that was successful. I will be doing some reading prompts for the Readathon reading challenge for the winter that I kind of started doing a couple years ago, and some people expect it now, to give us something to focus on in Dewey's before April Readathon. So I will talk about that when I get it up, but probably not before the 6th. I'm kind of aiming for the end of the official Christmas season being when I post that, just to give myself a deadline. Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping to work on for 2024. I still have one more video that I've tried recording 4 times, and I didn't like it. And I think I'm being hypercritical. So I need to watch some more videos of other people and give myself a bit more realistic perspective of this is what everybody else is doing for their best of 2023 and 2023 wrap-ups. And they're not being all, super dramatic and high-tech about it. So, I don't know. I know. But that's still something that I need to do. So I'm going to wrap this video up and let it upload. It's going to take forever. And then make the video for wrapping up 2023. And this 5th time recording it, it is going to be done. You will see it. Because it is high time to be done with 2023 and firmly into 2024. So I will catch you in that next video. Happy reading, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.